That the basic nature of business education, I mean, what you learn in a IBH or BCom or an MBA or PhD, business is still business. The average day has changed a lot from March the 13th of last year. It's hard to think it was 10 months ago where we thought this was going to be temporary. So at that point, when the university decided to go online, and we had to worry about everything: student housing, food services, security. My day consisted of at least 8 hours of Zoom calls. That was a good day. A not good day would be 12 hours of Zoom calls. We had a crisis management group at the university. We had one within the school. And so it was really a very difficult time for everybody: deans, associate deans, faculty, students. It was a voyage of discovery. And then that took a good 2 to 3 months to get over. And then we renamed within the school, we called it the Opportunity Management Group rather than a Crisis Management. And then the university, it became the Back to the Future Group. So it's become more business as usual. And so my day now is kind of more normal as to what it used to be, which is a lot of meetings. The difference is it's become what I used to do, but I don't leave the house. It's disconcerting, to not leave the house. One of our great faculty members, Catherine Connolly, in human resources and organizational behavior. So I like what she does. So every morning she has her breakfast, let's say at 8. Then she walks out the front door, walks around the block, and walks into her study. And then at 4:30, she leaves her study, walks out the study door, walks around the block, and walks into her house. So there's some way, I think what we've all found is very difficult to manage time, especially to limit how much you're working. I think organizationally, it's more or less the same now after 10 months. Because it's become more standard operating procedure, which we had before, except now it's virtually instead of physical. I can't walk around the building and just check in on people. One of the great problems with Zoom, and why I think firms like Twitter, which say that they'll never go back to the offices, I think that's not going to happen. You cannot have an unscheduled meeting on Zoom. You can't just happenstance meet somebody in their office. And I love to walk around the building, just talk to people, learn more about what they're the research and what's happening. Most important changes strategically is what have we learned from going through this process? There will be a new normal. It will not go back to the same. So what can we take away from what we've been doing well and use that to make ourselves even better? So business education is changing, and what we teach has to change as well. We realized that it was changing slowly. I mean, digital transformation is one of the things we do. We didn't think it was going to apply to us, like the music industry, right? We didn't think we were going to, we teach it, but it doesn't affect our day-to-day lives. Well, that was a mistake. And it affects the day-to-day lives of everybody in business as well. And so we have to kind of rethink how what we're teaching and how we do it. And that's going to be a journey that we're on. And I think every business school dean. We have now monthly meetings of all the Ontario Business School deans. And so actually we're sharing more now than we ever did. Before we would meet once a year. But now we realize we can learn a lot from each other because everybody has a slightly different experience, and we can get best practice. So I think we've become also more cooperative among business schools as well, because it's a new for all of us. And some schools are doing things that are really interesting. Wow, I should try that. Thought of a building where there weren't typical classrooms. There's one 240 seat classroom and two small 40 and 60 seat classrooms. But the building was really designed for a different way of learning. It turns out it was maybe prophetic because it's a building that we don't have to change. If we were putting up a standard classroom building, we would probably be stopping construction, saying, let's rethink it. We never thought this was going to happen 3 years ago. But we thought that the way in which students should be educated, partly, I mean, you still got to learn core accounting, core finance, and an IBH, core philosophy, and other things. But you also want to apply that in real time, real life problems. You don't want to just use the old cases because the world is changing. And so it'd be nice to also be on your feet thinking, or on your chair, sitting on thinking about how, as a group, how do we deal with this? The first one is I'm an NFL junkie. I'm a couch potato on Sundays. My wife knows enough to leave me alone from 1 until 11 p.m. So I went to graduate school in the States and I fell in love with NFL. Many years ago, I took a wine tasting course, so I love wine. And so, but I don't drink wine while I'm watching NFL. It's just not the drink for professional football. So those are, there are probably other things, but those are three I can think of.